Everyone, welcome back. I know it's been a while since I put an update. From my perspective, I've not invested any more money into the stock market since the last time I had put a video. I've been accumulating a lot of money in terms of my savings, my dividends, everything that has come in, even a single penny. I have not been investing in the market. I've just kept it. However, I'm not taking anything out of the market. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to be, of the opinion that, it's time to sell. Things are going to still bottom out. Even if they bottom out, I don't care. From my perspective, I know that we are kind of like, one bad news after the other. We had the Omicron scare, then came the Fed meeting notes or minutes, and then from there on we have the Ukraine trouble. So I'm not necessarily worried about the Ukraine trouble. I'm more worried about the fact that the Fed has not been able to give any kind of clarity as to what is happening with the rate hikes. How many hikes are we going to have? What's going to be the schedule? And some analysts have said that they are predicting 13 hikes. Some analysts have said they're predicting 10 hikes. I think the general consensus was 7 hikes. So we don't know. And I've said this before in one of my videos that, unless and until we get clarity, nobody's going to know. All these people who are coming out on the, on CNBC or any other sort of finance platform and saying that, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I don't think anybody knows. I think for me, the most important thing is I'm just going to stick to my investments because I'm not looking at it in the short run. I'm looking at it in the long run. And whatever I've invested, I'm going to keep it there. I also know that, certain times it's not necessarily, you want to catch the good days in the market. If you look at some of the historical facts, there have been like 10 to 15 good days that happen in the market in any given year. It's those days that you want to be invested in. If you miss those days, you miss a crazy growth uptick. Obviously, I've still maintained that, I'm going to discount my portfolio by about 40% from where it is today. And, I'm gonna then sort of, in my mind, that's how much I have in investments. I have my company stock, which I've kept aside. I do not care about that. Again, when I say care about that, that for me is like my emergency fund. So this investment portfolio is something that I've, really seriously invested for a long period of time. So again, I'm not going to be worried about short-term fluctuations. Although, if you really think about it, when if you look at me 3 years back, because I started investing in 2019, September 2019, I would not have cared about Fed. I would not have cared about Ukraine, Russia, or USA, or anything else. But now, like, every now and then I go and say, oh, look, Mr. Putin, come on, man. Like, why are you doing this to us? But either ways, I know that this is a short-term fluctuation and I will be invested in the market for the long term. I'm not putting any new money into the market for now. I need to see that things have stabilized a little bit because as I had put in my previous video, I put about $7,000 into the market since the beginning of January. And it feels like an ocean that just, gulped all the money that I put into it. So for now, any dividend that I'm getting, I'm just like saving it. I think I have $350 or so in dividend income that I have in my portfolio, or sorry, in my brokerage account, Robinhood brokerage account. I'm going to keep it. So just wanted to share with you where my portfolio is right now. Definitely not, definitely a sorry picture because the first ever update I'd given on my portfolio was $242,000. Since then, my portfolio has dropped $216,000, and that is after I have invested $7,000 more. So technically, if I had not lost anything from that perspective, I should have had $249,000. I am currently sitting at 216,812. At the height of my portfolio, at the absolute best, I should have had $266,000, but I'm at $216,000. So you can say that I have lost $50,000 in the market since the beginning of times, or sorry, since the best time that I've had as far as my portfolio is concerned. So, you know what? I'm just going to take it as it comes. Definitely not happy about it. Definitely feeling the pain as everybody else is. But my point is, I'm going to stay invested. The stocks that I have, I'm going to keep them there. But I think I'm going to tilt a little bit more towards VOO or the S&P 500 index as opposed to picking any particular individual stock. I have $365.77 in my brokerage account. My came through a lot of dividends that I've been accumulating. Usually what I do is, as soon as I get a dividend, I go and reinvest it. I've been feeling a little bit uneasy about putting more money into the market. I'm just going to hold on to my cash, and once I get a signal, at least some kind of indication that the market has stabilized. Now look, it may not go to $266,000 in the short term. It may not get there in 2022. That's absolutely fine. I don't want it to be, on February 4th, it was 229, and then here it's 216, right? Maybe, 2 weeks later, it's 216, and it's kept on falling, consistently since then. So again, I just want a market to stabilize, but I'm also going to stay true to what I had envisioned for myself, is to sort of invest for long term. This is a long term play. This is not a short term play. As I've said before, if you look at, if you go back to March 2020, this looked like a big dip at the time when it was happening. Nobody knew when this was going to fix. Nobody knew when this was going to, improve. But look at it. It just looks like a small blip in a very long period of time. So I know that, from here to here, it looks like a crazy, crazy fall. But I know that in the long run, in 3, 4 years, this is going to look like a blip, almost like a straight line. When I look back at it, hopefully that's how it's going to pan out. But I'm still going to stay invested. I'm not going to move any dollars out of the market. If I look at, my investments, Tesla has fallen quite a bit. So I now feel like a genius because I put a video out here where I sold Tesla at 800 and I think $890, and I had taken that money and put it into VOO. Now, if you look at it, if you look at hindsight, that turned out to be a great decision. But at one point in time, I was kind of like cursing myself for almost 2 days when I had sold Tesla in a moment of panic. I'm not panicked, with what's happening right now. I'm just going to continue to sort of, hold my positions. Microsoft then has fallen quite a bit. It's now $285.70. Is that, is that warranted or not? Because Microsoft is one of the best companies out there from a perspective to invest in, and I'm glad I'm getting a $62.19 dividend on March 10, 2022. Maybe something to accumulate. My prediction is that as March comes, March first week, I think there'll be more clarity in the market. There'll be more clarity from a Fed perspective. There'll also be clarity about whether Putin is actually attacking Ukraine or not, because there's a lot of, is he attacking, is he not attacking? And the market is sort of reacting to that. I think March first week is when I think the things are going to stabilize. I've held on to my Apple positions. I've held on to my Adobe positions. VOO, obviously, totally holding on to that as well. Lululemon, I invested a long time back. I've not changed much there. So I'm holding on to that. Home Depot is another one I'm holding on to. Goldman Sachs, Target, AbbVie, Lucid is one stock that for me, goes into the category of speculative bet. You know what? I bought it at $29.73. It's at 26.10. I'm not adding to it. I'm not selling it. Let's see how far it goes. Now, one other thing is, you just never know how far a stock is going to go. A stock surprises, more than people would, love to think about it. Because if you really think about it, the stock called SPCE, you go back to 2019, and the stock was at $35. And then it rallied all the way up to $77. $77, $75. Came back from there. There were all these good news articles, Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson flying in the space and everything, and so on and so forth. And again, there was a federal aviation news that came out. The stock fell even more. But then nobody would have imagined after that flight of Richard Branson that SPCE would be at $8. So if you think a stock cannot fall more than it's already fallen, think again. A stock can go down, much more than you can imagine. So I'm going to hold on to my positions. I'm not worried about it. I will keep on holding on to this. Just wanted to an update here again. I've mentioned this before. I'm not an expert. I'm just on a journey to see if I can get to a $1 million portfolio. It seems like an impossible task right now, but I think the best thing I can do is the things that are in my control, which is to sort of hold my positions and not go too much into speculative side of things. And then we'll see how things sort of work out from there. But again, if you really look at it, it's been rough going. Disney, AMD, Bank of America, Costco, Casey, Google. Google I thought would rally. It did well in its earnings, and had a stock split announced. Look at Google. It's actually probably below my average cost. So now Google actually hit the price that is below my average cost. So if I like Google at $2,624, I definitely should like Google at $2,608. Yes and no. I like it at $2,608. I don't want to put any money in the market right now. I think I'm definitely nicely invested. And if the markets go up, I think I'm positioned for it. If the markets fall, I'm positioned for it. Shopify, crazy stock, $650. Currently, my average cost is $1,042.65. So I'm having a loss of $400 right now in Shopify. Again, going to hold on to it. Great concept. I think it's now in that sort of rightly valued territory, probably. But again, the point I'm making is I'm going to hold on to my positions. I'm going to see where. I think the strategy I'm going to use is wherever my cost, the price of the stock falls below my cost, and it's a good stock to invest in from a valuation perspective, from a future growth perspective, I'm going to go for those companies now because they are cheaper. Asana, a company that I'm happy owning, $62.50, which is still higher than my average cost of $57.54. So I'm going to keep on holding on to it. I'm not going to add any more positions there because it's still higher than my average cost. If I look at other stocks that I own, I have Realty Income. If it falls below my average cost, I'm definitely going to pick it up because it is a great dividend stock. It's a gift that keeps on giving. CRM, I had very little skin in the game, so don't bother with that. But yeah, everything has been decimated from even last week, beginning of last week. So it's interesting. I hope people who are investing in the market are doing it from a long-term perspective. Look, none of this is leverage money. There is no leverage. If this goes to zero tomorrow, I don't owe anybody anything. It's all my hard-earned money that has gone into the market. And I want to keep it such. I want to play it safe from that perspective. I think not investing in the market is probably a more riskier proposition. But investing in the market at least gives me a chance that as I'm betting with the US economy. I'm betting with the fact that the US economy is going to continue to soar in the long run. And if it goes to zero, at least no creditor is coming after me. Nobody's going to come to me and say, hey, you owe me money. So I had said in my previous videos that this is going to materialize, or this is going to stabilize in March. So I'm gonna see, if that sort of comes true. But I think there'll be clarity on Fed, and there'll be clarity on Ukraine, and a little bit more clarity on coronavirus by March. Mid-March, I think this will be stabilized. I think I'm going to revisit this video in March, that it's going to stabilize. If you really think about it, S&P 500 is only 9% down from its 52-week high. So we have still not seen the bottom. We are still sort of, quite high, relatively speaking. So if you look at VOO, which is again an indicator of S&P 500, is it is at $400.23. If I look at 1 year return, it's 10.41% from where it was 1 year ago. And I don't think we are still at that level. Like, 1 year ago at March, so it will be a bigger return when you look at March 4th, 2021. So 10.41%, if you had invested your money at this stage last year into S&P 500, your money would have grown by 10%, which is still awesome, right? 10% per year is a great return. So we are still not, looking at the bottom right now. I think more clarity is needed. I think we may still continue to fall up until March, and then we'll see, what really comes from it. But anyways, that's where my portfolio is. I have a message right here, and the message reads, we charged $5 for your Robinhood, whatever plus account. Great, thank you. And then I had 2.9 shares of Costco, so I got a dividend of $2.34. Great. I have, again, the dividend streams are coming. I got a $24.79 dividend from Realty Income, and this dividend was the best. AbbVie, $90. $90.40 of dividends I got from AbbVie. So AbbVie is one of my favorite stocks right now. It has done really well. But anyways, my goal is to continue to sort of, at least hold on to my positions right now, and I think go back into the market once I have more clarity in March. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Just wanted to give an update. It is really sad to see something fall from 266 to 216. But it is what it is. I think everybody's going through it, so I'm not unique in any way. But how I respond to it is gonna, hopefully set me apart. And the way I think I'll respond to it is hold my positions and not sell them. I do not want to sell these positions, but I also am refraining from putting in new money into the market till I get some kind of signals that, the volatility is a little bit lower than what it is today. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, you guys are also on the journey of wealth building, and I'll keep on putting my learnings out here as I go. I really do not know much, but I think I'm learning day by day. I do read a lot, and that helps. But anyways, talk to you later, and happy rest of the February.